Um, I'm European American.
Okay, how do you feel about your culture?
I believe I'm from the American culture. Assimilated. I'm first generation American, European American.
Okay, how do you feel about balancing both cultures, American and European?
Well, since I'm of Caucasian or white descent, then I'm kind of in the majority. I'm not a minority. Although minorities are becoming the majority in America,
Yes.
I feel like I'm part of the American culture, which is of different cultures. So I enjoy different things from different cultures, music and food. So that's basically what America is a melting pot of all these different things.
All right. Any other thing you would like to talk about regarding culture in America?
Some minorities, Hispanics or Black Americans, are under the gun these days, and I feel that there's going to be a tipping point where there has to be something in our legislation nationally that addresses some of these issues of inequality. Could incarcerations with job prospects, monetary.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
My name is Mrs. Johnson, and I am the library clerical person at Midtown High School.
All right. What ethnicity are you?
I'm Slovak.
How do you feel about your culture?
I'm really proud of it. Where I grew up in southwestern Pennsylvania. Everything is culturally diverse. So all of the churches, I grew up Catholic, all the churches have their ethnicity tied to them. So my church was all Slovak, and then you would have the Italian church and the Irish church. Growing up, our culture was huge. Right down to the masses, to family dinners. It was very important.
Okay. How do you feel about American culture?
I think there's good points and bad points to it. I think the parts that are important is not forgetting your culture that you came from. I think it's important to tie the two together. Yes, I'm American, but I will always be Slovak first.
Okay. How do you balance both cultures?
I think it's important, especially for my son, for him to know where we came from and the struggles that my family had to go through to get here and the struggles they had to go through to fit in here, and still honor those rich stories and the history and the values that we have.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say regarding culture in America?
Again, I just think it's important to know where you came from. Even if you are fifth generation American, I still think everybody has a beginning, and you need to know the struggles that your family and ancestors went through to appreciate the opportunities that you have.
All right. Thank you.
This is Aaron Steele, art teacher here at Knightdale High School.
Okay. What ethnicity are you?
I am half Filipino, and I like to say the other half Welsh mostly, but there's like Irish and other stuff, and it was just better than just saying half white.
Okay. How do you feel about your culture?
My culture, like, I moved away when I was 2 from the Philippines, but my mom and a lot of that side of the family on my mom's side is very still within like their like cultural traditions. With my culture, what I like is they're more responsible for my like faith side, because my mom is very, very religious. And my American side, I guess technically it kind of gives me a like more relaxed or like very like sarcastic comedic approach on things. But I would say it balances out pretty well.
How do you feel about, well, you already touched on it, but how do you feel about American culture?
How do I feel about American culture? I did see these questions. I had to think about this one the longest. American culture, when I've gone to other countries, surprisingly, we thrive on conflict. It's really, really odd to say that. I hate to be political, but it really is true. We have a lot more things that we discuss more about the other side of things, whether it's Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. We base all these things. I mean, one of the simple things, like even when we drive in the road and we look for conflict. When I was in like the Bahamas Like I thought a lot of people were beeping because they're upset, and they're only beeping because they're allowing people to actually cut in front of them. And it blew my mind because I was like, that would never happen in the United States. They'd be beeping because they're upset that you're trying to get in or something. And I just said, it's just like we thrive on conflict. And even if you go on like Yahoo News or Google, we have like ratio of like 80 stories that are more about like issues like conflicts or bad things happening in the world to the like 20 different stories where it's something actually positive. And so that's the only thing. The drawback is we love conflict. That's why the shows that we watch all thrive on controversy and conflict.
Okay, how do you balance your cultures?
Food. We balance culture on food. Filipino food's very, very good. I would say that it balances out because, like I said, it's kind of like what we referred to a second ago. My mom was like, when I say Catholic, like she was like very, very strict Catholic on some of the traditions that we had. But I always think like it wasn't just the religious side of it. It also gave me a good basis of like morality. And so that approach is like kind of telling like even students about like good moral things to live by and good manners is also something I still feel is like it's part of what should be American society. Like we still do have a lot of good things that happen, a good heart. We are a very open country. We practically open ourselves up to the world. But I think, like I said, it kind of helps in those values to balance each other out, I think.
Okay, do you have anything else you want to say regarding like ethnicity or?
What I love is that even though I was a mixed culture, I still embraced the Filipino side of me. But I love being still like, if I had to consider myself, I consider myself still an American. Like I've told my mom before, if I had to represent my country in a sport, I would still say USA because most of my life has been spent here. But I still love the best part about being American is embracing your actual roots, which is like outside of America. So, like I said, it balances out pretty well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.